Hello everyone, welcome back to my another 5th tutorial with Django and Python. So in this tutorial we'll talk about admin panel and applications. In the previous part you created a custom user model that we can use to log into our admin panel. Here you can interact with your models using an actual user interface. Here you can view, modify, add or remove entries for models registered here. You should see very similar view as I'm right now showing to you. Okay, so before moving forward, please like, subscribe and share this video as you're looking right now. This would really help me to grow my channel in the future. Thank you. So talking about this page, we are missing articles and series models that we were focusing on our previous tutorials. So we need to register articles and article series to admin side. So we open our code, we go to our main application, we go to admin, and here we do the same as we did in previous tutorial for our users. So here from our models we import article and article series as it was suggested right now. So next, on the next line we write an admin site.register, and here we write article series, and we do the same stuff with our article. I copy this and I remove few simple characters. That's it. We save it and we go back to our browser, we refresh it, and after registering these models we can see that the groups, articles, series and users are available right now for us. So that was really quick fix how to make them visible for us and editable. So let's go ahead and click on users, and here is username that I created a user before. So as you can see, there are quite a few fields here. This is a Django user model combined with our custom fields. However, all of these fields that we can edit are pretty awesome. We could even add new user here as administrators. However, we'll probably not add users ourselves manually in the future. If you don't have similar view as I do now and I'm showing you, it seems you missed something in my previous tutorials. So go back, check what you missed and then continue on this tutorial, or simply go to my GitHub page, clone 4th tutorial part, and you should get everything to this tutorial. So in this part, I'll use a sample data in this whole Django website tutorial series without any real-world purpose. The first idea that came to my mind was that I'll go to Wikipedia and grab 2 cat types and 2 dog types that I'll use to create 2 series for them, and we'll have detailed information in their series. You'll see that let's go back to our series and create them. As I said, we go to add article series and I'll give it a title of dogs. Subtitle will be everything about dogs, and slug will be simply as dogs. Okay, let's save, and when we click the save button, now we have new series in our database called dogs. We'll assign our detailed articles to this series where we'll write about huskies, akitas, dobermans or other dog types. Same series I'm creating for cats, so I'm going here to the cats. I'll call it everything about cats, and slug will be cats. Okay, let's save it. And as you can see, we are not very happy about what we can see right now here, article, series, object, and so on. For example, I'll tell you why. If we go to the article and I press create new article, we don't know which one is which is dogs, which is cats. So we're really interested about that. So I go to my tutorial, I go to my models here. This is the purpose where we use this string stuff, as I told you before. So I go here and simply when we are calling string, we want to return a title. I save it and your server restarts, and I go back to my browser, and if I press refresh, you can see it appeared as cats and dogs. So we are happy about that. So now we might also choose to add a new article from that previous page. For example, I'm creating one for Bengal cat. So you can also create for dogs, but this I'll do later. So I create a Bengal cat, subtitle and so on. A series will be Bengal cat, and I go to Google and I write Bengal cat. I open the Wikipedia page and I'll copy it, so I won't waste my time. So let's create a subtitle from the first sentence of it, and I copy it here, and I think we'll happy with that. So we are creating modified and publish this as today, and so on. So notice how the fields are all different. The title is small, single line entry. Then there is a large box with a content. Date entry fields are shortest, single line, and even have calendar and clock options. If I can choose a date, I can choose a time, and so on. So we now even can choose our series from a drop-down list. This is amazing. Django does all this using the field types we specify in our model. You can list, edit, add, and delete all your models on this admin page. If you ever needed to write such an admin control panel, you're probably very dizzy right now. You get these amazing things from Django right out of the box. But wait, there is even more. We can easily organize how this model is present to us. We do not always choose the order of the column in a table. We may not care about all the column either. To modify how this information is presented to us, let's go to editing the admin.py. So I open the code, I go here, and I'll create here a class that I'll call article series admin, and it will inherit from admin.model admin. And here will be fields that will be equal to something, and here I need to add fields from our article series. So I go here and I'll simply grab, I'll simply grab these. I go back here and I add following records, and now I'll add additional. So that's cool. That's kind of easy. So next I also need to create article admin. So I copied these and I modify. I'll remove this article that it's a series, so it will be called article admin, and I'll do exactly the same. I'll go back to here and I copy these. I go back to my admin, I paste them, and now I move down and move to the end, and that's it. It seems like I created additional view for us, and now I need to register these new classes. For article series, I add article series admin, and for article, I add article admin, like that. So this will register them with these two classes. Now we have the same information, but now we can change the order of our fields. We can also comment on the published part because we don't want to adjust this field manually. So before that, let's save and look if anything has changed or not. So we save this, we go to Bengal cat, nothing changed, it works exactly the same. So I minimize this stuff and opened the code, and I as I said, I comment the publish, and I'll comment published also here, right? And if I'll open my browser, as you can see, the published field has gone because we are not using it right now. So the same would be for series. If I go to some cats, published time has gone. So that's cool. So actually we have the same information, but now we can change the order of our fields. We can also comment on the published, as I did. So another option is to modify how things are grouped for organization purposes. In our case, things are not confusing just yet because we don't have too many columns, but everything might change pretty fast. So we need to organize things, for example, by creating field sets. To do this, for our article model, I go back to my code. Here is fields that I'm not so interested right now, so I'll change this to field sets. Field sets. And here I'll create another that I'll call a header. Then I'll go with a content. And I'll go with a date, right, like that. So now we have a title, so we need to move this inside. So in a header, I would like to see a title. So this will be a fields. Fields. Fields will be from title, subtitle, article slug, and content. Now I'll skip content, we don't need content, so article slug, and I think we are more interested about what is the series of our article. That's it. So we also need to do the same stuff for our content. So I add also additional columns here, I add fields, and here will be a list of content and list of notes, but we don't have notes just yet, so I think we don't. Yeah, we don't. So just now let's remove this. You don't need this yet, just yet. And fields, we also add the same stuff here, and it will be modified. This one. So right now I don't need these anymore. And I saved it without any problems. After making this change, we should go back to our browser and let's look how our panel looks like. Wait a sec, something is not right here. Article, admin, field sets, content, fields. Oh, I see there is a mistake. I'm fixing the mistake. Yeah, that's sad that that doesn't show this mistake here, that's additional S here. So I go back here, I refresh it, and as you can see, you should see very similar view. Here appeared a header, content, date, and all this we can see in our admin panel. This is easy and cool, isn't it? Okay, so we are learning everything new every tutorial. So let's continue. Remember what I said about Django is a collection of applications and parts of what makes the abstraction that Django forces to use highly modular apps. So let's see just how easy that can be with Django. One thing my website desperately could use is an easy to use text editor, not just some text field. Sure, I can write HTML here, but it will be pretty boring and time consuming, especially if I made some spelling mistake and then didn't see it until I published it. Instead, I will use a what you see and what you get editor. Fortunately, many of them exist in Django ecosystem. What I will use is called TinyMCE. To get it, we need to insert it into Django with following two steps. So I opened my code, I open new tab here, and I install it. I write pip install Django TinyMCE. That's cool. I need to add this to my requirements, not to forget this in the future. And now that it's installed, I go back to my settings here. I go to my applications where my installed apps are, and I go after my users. I add TinyMCE. It's cool. Okay. Then, so somewhere at the end of the file is the of the settings file, we go back to the bottom. We can find that we need a TinyMCE default Python config. So I go here. No, not here. Probably not here. There's a lot of sources where you can find this, but for example, I go here and TinyMCE for Lite for Django, and I can copy this. I go back to my code and paste this, and I call it TinyMCE default config. That's cool, but right now I'm not sure if it will work, but idea is that it should work. But I have my own precise configurations that are best for me at this moment. So I'll copy these. You can also copy these. I'll post this on my website, and that's right. This means that they might not be the best purpose for you, so you definitely should check the Django TinyMCE documentation that I'll leave in my text tutorial. So you must test and what is best for you simply, and what you use and what you're not using, and so on. So next we need to add a pointer to the application so it can be referenced when we call it. To do this, let's now edit the Django websites URLs, and here use an admin. So right now instead of admin, after that I'll use a TinyMCE, and I'll use to include because it's installed. We can simply do it like this: TinyMCE URLs, and we need to add these at the ends. So finally, we need to use this TinyMCE wherever we want. To do this, we need to set the modal to use the TinyMCE modal instead of text field. To do this, go back to our modals. Right now, I go to my tutorials, articles and article series file, and change two simple lines. So here I have a content, and this content I need to change to HTML field. So, but first I need to import it. So from TinyMCE modals, I import HTML field. Doesn't matter, it should work like that. Now I need to change this content to HTML field, and of course there's some parameters. So I'll add a blank equal as true, and default also equal to nothing. So also I'm really interested to the notes field, so I'm creating another field that I'll call notes. This will be exactly the same as a content. And next I need to go back to where I registered this. So I go to my admin, and here is the content, and I'll also add notes. So right now we made some changes to our modals, and if you remember from my previous tutorial that every time we do changes to our modals, we need to call our migration. So I write the Python make migration, Python manage.py migrations black. What's black? Oh yeah, that's true. I need to go to my models, it's not a black, it's blank. Why type black? I don't know. So as you can see, that's an error. So we added a field to notes field in articles, and we also altered a field that we changed this from what? From text field to HTML field. So that was our changes, and we need to call our migrations. Migrate. Okay, we finished our migration. Now let's go back to our browser and let's see how it changed, if it did. So okay, my server is not running. Let's check why. And Python run server, now it runs. And if I refresh it, you can see that, cool, it appeared. HTML field, we can bold the text, we can make it heading, and so on. That's an easy to make our content to use HTML. So we can modify, add images, add different paragraphs, change our text style, and so on. And this stuff with Django is awesome, but this editor is so flexible that we can add our plugin to it for specific function. So this TinyMCE editor allows us to write HTML insert code snippets and to do things way more easily. This stuff with Django is awesome, but this editor is so flexible that we can add our plugin to it for specific functions. So this TinyMCE allows us to write HTML, insert code snippets, and way more. Things will be way more easier with it. We can also view raw HTML and insert custom HTML if something we want is not in the editor. So you definitely should try it and test by yourself. In the future tutorial, we'll see how to create these articles from the front end of the website. Usually you want to that users with a given privilege could create records on our website instead of using the admin panel. We'll leave the admin panel for administrators then. So let's now head back to our views to learn how our views can interact with our models and how the Django templating works for displaying and working with Python objects inside of HTML templates. So we'll do this in next tutorial. So for now, that's it. Please like my channel, subscribe, and thank you all for watching. See you next tutorial. Bye.